Question 966. The term potable refers to A. Oil, B. Water, C. Soil, D. Minerals. Correct answer is B. Water. Potable means safe to drink. Therefore, it refers to water that is clean and free from harmful contaminants. Question 967. Agency disclosure law requires a licensee to do all of the following, except A. Disclosure, B. Election, C. Representation, D. Confirmation. Correct answer is C. Representation. Agency disclosure laws require licensees to disclose who they represent in a transaction, buyer, seller, or both. They also require confirmation of that relationship in writing. In some jurisdictions, they require an election of the type of agency relationship. However, they do not require the licensee to represent a specific party. A licensee can choose not to represent either party and act as a transaction broker or facilitator, in some states. Question 968. When a seller provides credit on the basis of a note and trust deed, it is called A. Purchase money trust deed, B. Land contract, C. Wraparound mortgage, D. Soft money loan. Correct answer is A. Purchase money trust deed. In a land contract, also called a contract for deed, the seller retains legal title to the property until the buyer completes all payments. A wraparound mortgage encompasses an existing mortgage, with the seller providing additional financing. Soft money loan refers to a loan with below-market interest rates or other favorable terms. Usually, this loan provided by government or non-profit organizations for specific purposes, not specifically seller financing. A purchase money trust deed, or mortgage in some states, is used when the seller finances the purchase of their property. The buyer gives the seller a note and trust deed, or mortgage, as security for the loan. Usually, a seller will be unable to obtain a deficiency judgment against the buyer if the seller forecloses on a purchase money trust deed and the foreclosure sale of the property nets less than enough to pay off the note. So, a seller cannot sue for the balance under a purchase money trust deed. Question 969. A lease where the tenant pays $500 per month for 5 years, with the landlord paying taxes and fees, is called A. Net lease, B. Gross lease, C. Percentage lease, D. Month-to-month lease. Correct answer is B. Gross lease. In a net lease, the tenant pays a base rent plus some or all of the property's operating expenses, taxes, insurance, maintenance. A percentage lease ties the rent to a percentage of the tenant's gross sales. Month-to-month lease describes the lease term, 1 month at a time, not the payment structure. The payment structure could still be gross, net, or percentage even if the term is month-to-month. In a gross lease, the tenant pays a fixed amount of rent, and the landlord is responsible for paying all other expenses related to the property, such as property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Since the tenant is only paying the $500 rent and the landlord is covering taxes and fees, this is a gross lease. Most apartment leases are gross leases. Question 970. The fire stop in a home refers to A. Fireplace chimney screen, B. Fire retardant insulation in the attic, C. Boards nailed between studs to block the spread of fire in the walls, D. What firemen refer to when they are called on to fight a blaze. Correct answer is C. Boards nailed between studs to block the spread of fire in the walls. These are often called fire blocks or fire stopping. Their purpose is to interrupt concealed spaces within walls, floors, and attics. By inserting solid materials, like wood boards, horizontally within the stud cavities, they create compartments, which helps to slow down the vertical and horizontal spread of fire and smoke. This is a crucial safety feature mandated by building codes. Question 971. Which of the following ways to transfer real property are examples of involuntary alienation? A. Accession. B. Rule of law. C. Adverse possession. D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. All of the above. Involuntary alienation means transferring property ownership against the owner's will. All the options listed are examples of this. Accession refers to the addition of land by natural forces, such as the buildup of soil by a river, alluvion. The owner of the existing land automatically gains title to the newly formed land, regardless of their intent. Rule of law is a broad category encompassing various legal processes that can result in involuntary transfer. Dedication, intestate succession, escheat, condemnation, and court decisions regarding real property are all ways of alienation by rule of law. Adverse possession occurs when someone openly, notoriously, and continuously occupies another's property for a statutory period, eventually gaining legal title. This happens without the original owner's consent. Question 972. A balance sheet could include all of these entries, except A. Gross sales, B. Goodwill, C. Prepaid taxes, D. Sales tax deposit. Correct answer is A. Gross sales. A balance sheet is a snapshot of a company's financial position at a specific point in time. It follows the basic accounting equation: assets equals liabilities plus equity. It shows what a company owns, assets, what it owes, liabilities, and the owner's stake in the company, equity. Goodwill, prepaid taxes, and sales tax deposit are assets and show up on the balance sheet. Gross sales is an income statement item. The income statement reports a company's revenues and expenses over a period of time. Question 973. Personal property attached to a building so it becomes real property is known as A. Fixture, B. Trade fixture, C. Appurtenant fixture, D. Either B or C. Correct answer is A. Fixture. A trade fixture is an item installed by a tenant in a commercial property for the purpose of conducting their business. Trade fixtures remain the tenant's personal property and can be removed at the end of the lease. While appurtenant means belonging to or attached to something else, like a right-of-way, the term appurtenant fixture isn't a standard real estate term. The correct term is simply fixture. A fixture is an item of personal property that has been attached to real property in such a way that it is considered part of the real estate. Question 974. When interest is calculated on the principal plus accumulated interest, it is called A. Compound interest, B. Straight interest, C. Simple interest, D. Overall interest. Correct answer is A. Compound interest. Straight interest isn't a standard financial term. Simple interest is calculated only on the principal amount. It doesn't take into account accumulated interest. Overall interest is a general term and doesn't refer to a specific calculation method. Compound interest is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest from previous periods. This means that over time, you earn interest on your interest, leading to faster growth. Question 975. An unenforceable contract cannot be enforced in court for the following reasons. A. Its contents cannot be proven, B. It is voidable by the other party, C. The statute of limitations has expired, D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. All of the above. An unenforceable contract is a valid contract that a court will not enforce. If the contents of a contract cannot be proven, it's more likely that the contract is considered void, never valid in the first place, or that there is simply no contract at all. The inability to prove the terms prevents the court from determining what to enforce. A voidable contract is one that one party has the option to disaffirm, cancel. It can be a reason a contract is unenforceable if the party with the power to void the contract chooses to do so. A voidable contract is valid unless and until the party with the option to void it does so. If they choose to void it, it becomes unenforceable. The statute of limitations has expired is a very common reason for a contract to become unenforceable. California law gives 4 years to sue for breaches of written contracts. Oral contract breaches in California must be litigated within 2 years.